to Donald Mackerel Game with me, Donald Mackerel. We are back with another video, but this one might upset a few people. It's 5 PS3 games, or at least games famous for being on the PS3, that I can't stand. I just can't get on with them. Who knows, it might change, my taste do alter, but I've got a funny feeling that I'm really just not going to get on with it. I'm going to throw in a curveball as well, though. Right at the very start, I'm going to mention another game that I can't stand, but the only reason why it hasn't made this list is I don't even consider it a game. It's just a walking simulator. We'll get straight on with that one first. So the first one, you might have guessed, it's Heavy Rain. I just don't understand it. It says right there on the front, unlike anything else you will play this year, 9 out of 10. So 9 out of 10 might be the case, but that, unlike anything else you'll play this year, yeah, because nobody's ever wanted to make a playable film. It's not good. I mean, the acting in it as well. I remember at the time people were saying it was like revolutionary. I thought the acting was awful. I thought it was almost Resident Evil standards of acting. I mean, we all know the famous memes that come off the back of it. But even as you get further into the game, it just doesn't make any blooming sense. And the twist, the one that's it's not obvious, it's just silly, doesn't make any blooming sense. It just makes me detest it, really. So yeah, not a game for me. I did like a few more that David Cage put out after that. I didn't like Fahrenheit that came out before this. No, that's quite controversial to say. Just didn't do anything for me. But he did release a couple of games after that were all right. But all in all, I thought the vast majority of his games were a bit poop. And this was one of the most egregious ones. I just didn't understand it at all. Didn't get into it. You might love the game. There might be people out there that absolutely rave about this franchise, about his games, probably rave about this game in particular. But for me, Heavy Rain, yeah, that's my honourable mention. That's me just getting it off my chest there, blooming heck. Right, let's get into the 5 that I know there will be a few here that people will love, but for me, yeah, not my cups of tea. We'll start off with one that I don't know. I just don't think it's aged very well. Perhaps if I played it when it came out, I'd have probably enjoyed it, but trying to play it in 2025 is not a good call. Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. Now, I remember going around my mate's house and watching him playing that a lot, and playing Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. He seemed to really enjoy it, so I just sort of thought, oh, well, when it comes down in price, I'll grab it. It's now sort of like a £1 game. Like, you can pick these, well, 50p, you can probably pick them up for. They're everywhere. So I finally thought, let's just get on board. Let's give it a go. Let's see what they're all about. And it does say there, 9 out of 10. The adventure game PS3 has been waiting for. Gold Award from PlayStation Magazine. So yeah, I thought, give it a go. Naughty Dog as well. So, I don't know. Let's see what it's like. I just found it incredibly linear. Incredibly. And I know they said there's that mechanic in it where it's designed to keep you on your toes, keep you moving forward. If you wait for too long, that's the worst thing you can do. But I don't want that. I don't want to be pushed all the time, particularly in one direction. I don't mind if it's make a choice now. You've got to make your mind up now to see what happens. This is very much a, come on, follow the story, come on, it's over. So, not for me. Gameplay wasn't exactly hard, but wasn't simple either. I mean, you can put it on the easiest difficulties and that, but I don't know. I think it's just an overrated franchise, to be honest with you. Even when they moved on to the PS4, it was not for me. So yeah, Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. First game I'm not really a fan of. Is where a lot of you have already clicked off, because I'm sure there's going to be people out there that absolutely adore that. If you haven't clicked off at that point, we're about to do probably 2 of PS3's biggest games. We'll start off with the first one. You all probably know why I hate this. Resistance Fall of Man. Now, first-person shooters, for a start, I can't get on with them. I also can't get on with hand-holding. If you want to show me the controls, link it into the story in a fun way. A perfect example of that would be the original Killzone. When I played that, I was like, oh, blimey, this is fun. I'm learning how to play the game. It's taken me 3 minutes. I'm in it now. I'm having fun. With this, it's all just bitty and rubbish, and it doesn't really explain itself well. The story was a bit generic and poop, and again, if I'd have played it when it came out, perhaps I'd have some love for it. I tell you what, you try and play this game now. You tell me what you think about it. I thought it was awful. So it's really, really hard for a first-person shooter game to pull me on board. This did not do it. This was really, really bad for me. So, yeah, Resistance Fall of Man. Not for me, I'm afraid. And on that note, I have just mentioned it. Killzone 2. What did you do to my baby? No, Killzone I thought was pretty good. Not as good as people said it was, but it wasn't bad for a first-person shooter for me. And as I say, it got me straight into how to play the game, what to do. This, yet again, I don't know if it was a thing with the PS3, if they thought that gamers were getting more and more stupid or something, I'm not sure, but it just became a very, very hand-holding exercise. Nowhere near as bad as Killzone 3. Oh my lord, that was awful. But yeah, Killzone 2, really, really bad. Same issues as Resistance to me. Just don't like FPS games. Bad story. Pacing was all over the place. Yeah, I can't get on board with it. So Killzone 2, not for me. And again, sadly, it was just, I did actually enjoy, I didn't think it was the best game ever, but I did enjoy Killzone. And yeah, it's a shame they did that. Talking of games that I used to enjoy, and oh my god, what happened to him? Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. So I loved the original Metal Gear Solid. Never got to finish it. I'm not a good gamer. I am not a good gamer at all. So I never got to finish the original Metal Gear Solid, even though I loved it. I refused to cheat on it. I just thought, I'm going to try and play through to the end. Couldn't do it. Metal Gear Solid 2. Really good game. Not as good as Metal Gear Solid, but really, really good game. I enjoyed my time with that, even though it was quite different to the first game. Really thought it was a decent game. Metal Gear Solid 3, I've only played that recently, and I'm glad I've only played it recently, because I don't know, something about it just gave me weird vibes that I probably wouldn't enjoy it, and I was right, it wasn't for me. I've recently tried Metal Gear Solid 4. It's even worse than 3, just overblown guff. This is someone who's had so much smoke blown up his bum that he just thinks he can pump out any old tosh that's in his head and people will lap it up. Yeah, really not for me. So it's a shame. It's a shame what Kojima's done to his own franchise. And I don't, again, this is probably going to get a bit of backlash. I don't blame Konami for getting rid of him. What they did with Metal Gear Survive was unforgivable. Like, if they'd have turned the corner and brought it back to its roots and made a decent tactical espionage game, I'd have been well up for that. Instead, they just ruined the franchise, but he was going off in weird tangents as well. So, yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4, really not for me. And people that watch the channel know I can't stand 5 either. So, yeah, sadly, in my head, there's only Metal Gear Solid, and then Metal Gear Solid 2 is like a weird sort of spin-off. Outside of that, there are no other Metal Gears. Oh, God. So that moves us on to this. This is the first game in the series. Says on the front, from the creators of Uncharted. So I think you know what it is. The Last of Us. So I tried playing a bit of it. I'm not good with scary games either. So perhaps a lot of this list is just me and my own personal quirks. I didn't get on with the clickers. They scared the life out of me. So when I first played it, I got to where there's like a room full of clickers and you've got to sneak your way through it. And I noped out. That's on me. That's my fault. I then tried to play The Last of Us Part 2. Again, overblown guff. Too much story. Too much doing nothing. Trying to get on with the game right at the very start. So I turned that straight off. Utter rubbish. And if you like it, again, well done you. To me, that is not what I want in a game. I don't want to watch a film. I want to play a game. I want to enjoy it from the first second that game loads up, which again, it takes ages for The Last of Us Part 2. I want to be enjoying that game, not sitting there watching cutscenes, skipping, learning ridiculous. What's the point with the blooming guitar? So I remembered playing The Last of Us, and I remember going, do you know what? Control-wise, it wasn't too bad. So perhaps if I play through that, it might make me like The Last of Us Part 2. Tried replaying it. My word, not for me. Not for me at all. Again, very linear. So you can tell it's from the same people that did Uncharted. Very, very linear. And again, even when I got further and further into the game, there's just nothing surprising. The story was decent. I will say that about it. I enjoyed the story. Everything else, though, just poop. not for me. And again, I know that's horrible to say about one of allegedly the best games on the PS3, but yeah, I can't get on board with it. Last of Us. So that is my 5 with a little bit of a bonus. PS3 games that I just cannot abide. I can't get on board with. Here's the bad bit though. I am keeping all of them because I'm trying to collect the PS3 exclusives. So it's one of those weird quirks I've got where I have to take the bad with the good. And I know that these aren't bad games per se, just not good for me. But I'll still keep them just for the blooming collection. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? What's your like worst 5 PS3 games? And by that, I don't mean like multi-platform as in they were on the 360 at the same time or something. Something that came out and was meant to define the PS3 and instead just made you go, oh dear, these are my 5 anyway. Let me know yours in the comments, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. This has been Donald Mackerel for Donald Mackerel Gaming. I'll see you again soon. Cheers, everybody.